Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello to all of you. I'm Dr. Aisha. In this topic, I will discuss about business ethics and corporate social responsibility, that is CSR. In particular, my presentation will cover several important sections related to this topic. In the first section, I will discuss about Bursa Malaysia CSR framework. The second section is related to CSR model according to Carroll and Davis. The third section related to argument on CSR, the fourth section on CSR as competitive advantage, the fifth section on CSR in emerging economy. Alright, now we look at the first section. Corporate social responsibility or CSR means that firms are not only responsible to shareholders but also accountable for the effect of their actions on various stakeholders group. Firms have an obligation to take actions that protect and enhance the well-being of the stakeholders. CSR extends the fiduciary responsibilities of corporate managers to stakeholders because they also have legitimate claims on the firms. In Malaysia, Bursa Malaysia Securities launches a CSR framework for public listed firms in 2006. The framework emphasized that CSR is more than philanthropy and community initiatives. CSR is defined as open and transparent business practices that are based on ethical values and respect for the community, employee, the environment, shareholders, and other stakeholders to deliver sustainable value of society at large, according to Bursa Malaysia 2006. In 2007, Bursa Malaysia made it compulsory for all public listed companies to disclose CSR initiatives in the financial reports in the form of CSR statement. The CSR framework of Bursa Malaysia comprises of 4 dimensions that are community, workplace, marketplace, and environment. Community means investments or donations in capital, time, products, services, management knowledge, and other resources that bring positive impact to local communities. Workplace include activities to maintain high standard of recruitment, development, and retention of employees. Marketplace includes activities to encourage and influence shareholders, vendors, and customers to behave in a sustainable manner across the value chain. Environment includes initiatives to conserve the ecosystem and biodiversity and to manage the effects of firms' operations on the environment. Okay, in the next section, we will examine the nature of firms' social responsibility. We will look into 2 models for this purpose. The most established and accepted model of CSR that explains the nature of firms' social responsibility is in the 4-part model of corporate social responsibility according to Carroll, 1979. The second model is derived from the notion that the exercise of corporate powers comes from the responsibility to improve the welfare of the society. Davis pioneered this idea in what he called the Iron Law of Responsibility. Carroll's pyramid of corporate social responsibility suggests that there are 4 levels of social responsibility, that is economics, legal, ethical, and philanthropic. Each of the 4 responsibilities is interrelated and can be best explained by imagining a pyramid that has 4 layers. Firms need to simultaneously fulfill all of the 4 layers of responsibility. Economic responsibility requires firms to be profitable so that shareholders can earn reasonable rate of return on their investment and employees can receive decent pay for them to support their lives. Likewise, customers require firms to produce quality goods and services at a fair price. Suppliers see to the business with the firms in order to survive. Firms should be committed to maintaining a strong competitive position and a high level of operating efficiency in order to achieve a successful position on the market. Legal responsibility requires firms to obey all laws and adhere to regulations that are relevant to business operations. For example, company laws require directors to discharge their fiduciary duty to managing the assets and investment of a firm. This duty requires them to always act in the best interest of the shareholders. Ethical responsibility requires firms to do what is right, fair, and just in its dealing with all stakeholders, even if the law does not compel them to do so. Firms have to act in a manner consistent with expectations of societal morals and ethical norms. Thus, the management of the firm must strive to practice ethical leadership. These expectations of the shareholders are based on the fact that the laws are not enough to govern all corporate behavior and actions. Firms are expected to fulfill ethical responsibilities beyond the requirement of economic and legal responsibilities. Philanthropic responsibility is something that is desired or expected by the society rather than being required of firms. In philanthropic responsibility, firms voluntarily fulfill this responsibility in order to give back to the society that supports their existence and well-being. Giving back in this context includes donating cash for improving the community's quality of life and supporting its activities. Examples of philanthropic activities such as sponsoring, breaking of fasts, and donating to the poor, elderly, and orphans. Firms are considered unethical if they do not meet these responsibilities. Alright, so at this point of time, we understand that CSR requires firms to make profits, to obey laws, be ethical, and give back to society. Some examples of the social responsibility activities of firms include offer safe and good quality products, practices recycling, donates to charitable firms, employees serve as volunteers, provide healthcare to poorest people, give scholarships to students, allocates funds to help address social programs, provides safe working environment, promotes ethical practices at workplace, donation to help natural disaster victims, fund local community services, commitment to prevent pollution, respond quickly to customers' complaints, sponsoring skill training program for local youth and underprivileged women, for example. Okay, now we look at Keith Davis' model of corporate social responsibility. In 1960, Keith Davis argued that CSR would pave the way for firms to enjoy long-term economic benefits. He articulated this idea in the well-known Iron Law of Responsibility, which states that the social responsibility of a business correlates with its social power. This means business have to behave responsibly because failure to do so might lead to the loss of its social power and legitimacy. Davis 1960 proposed a model of CSR that lists down 5 propositions. The first proposition is social responsibility arises from social power. This proposition suggests that a business has a great influence and power over social issues such as employment, environment, and community development. As such, society requires firms to be responsible for the social issues that arise from the exercise of their power. The second proposition is that business shall operate as a two-way open system. This proposition states that a business receives inputs from society and hence should disclose its operation to the public. Inputs in this context are suggestions or views of society on action to be taken to promote the welfare of the society, which a business must be willing to listen to. The business should disclose all the actions taken to fulfill its social responsibilities, and society must pay attention to such disclosure. The third proposition is that business should thoroughly analyze the social costs and benefits of its activity, product, and service before pursuing it. Business must consider the short-term and long-term benefits and consequences of its operation before making any business decision. Proposition 4 is that consumers should absorb the social costs arising from each activity, product, or service. Business should realize that some socially beneficial activities can reduce their profitability. Hence, society should not expect the business to bear the cost of such activities completely. Instead, the cost should be passed on to the consumers in the form of high prices for the goods or services related to these activities. Proposition 5 is related to business institutions as citizens have the responsibility to become involved in certain social problems that are outside their normal areas of operations. Although a business does not contribute to a social problem, it should be held responsible to help society solve such a problem if it has the expertise to do so, like any good citizen. In the next section, we will learn about the argument against and for CSR in order to further comprehend the objection and support for firms to allocate resources and efforts to promote the well-being of their stakeholders. Alright, now we look at the arguments against CSR. According to Friedman 1962, business functions is economy, not social. The only social obligation or responsibility that the management of a firm has is to maximize profit for its shareholders. Therefore, learning from the agency theory, the classical economist's viewpoint claim that managers are responsible to the shareholders only, and managers cannot use corporate resources to advance the well-being of the society. Friedman 1970 believed that corporate managers that spend money on charitable causes or try to satisfy the stakeholders other than the shareholders were at best misguided. However, Friedman agreed that firms must obey the law and do not cause harm to others in carrying out their business operation. Firms do not have the necessary technical and social skills to deal with social issues or make socially oriented decisions. Corporate managers are trained to be competent in managing the finance and operating aspect of the business. Thus, they should focus on this special area of competence only. Undertaking CSR initiatives is not without a price. Firms will have to bear the cost of doing so, which put them at a competitive advantage. Competitor firms that do not adopt CSR will earn higher profit as a result of a lower cost of doing a business. Critics argue that placing moral responsibility on a firm is misguided because only human beings have moral responsibility for their actions. In this context, corporate managers or individual business persons are the ones to be held responsible socially instead of a firm. Hence, a firm should not be required to set aside a sum of money for a social cause in the name of corporate social responsibility. Firms that allocate funds in incurred costs for engaging in CSR will ultimately pass on some of those costs to their stakeholders in order to recover them. This cost is borne by stakeholders in the form of a higher price of product or services. For example, a factory may need to build its own waste disposal system or treatment plant to avoid polluting the nearby river or drainage system. The cost of such an initiative may be imposed on consumers in the form of high price of the firm's product. This argument stems from the classical economics points of view that the business exists to serve its shareholders, that is, to create wealth for the shareholders. Hayek 1969 considers CSR as an undertaking that is unrelated to the proper aim of a business. Now we look at the argument for CSR. The most compelling argument is CSR promotes the firm's own self-interest. That's what we call as enlightened self-interest. Firms will enjoy a good reputation and gain trust from their stakeholders if they promote stakeholders' well-being. Reputation is considered as a valuable intangible asset as it enhances the loyalty of customers and their business partners. Socially responsible firms will ensure that business policies do not adversely affect their stakeholders. They have high self-discipline standards to fulfill the expectation of society. In this instance, External interference such as future government intervention in the form of costly requirement to comply with the new regulation can be prevented. Firms have a pool of talented managers, expertise, and most importantly, capital to handle social problems. Davis 1973 argued that businesses should be given an opportunity to deal with social problems because they have the required resources, and so many others have tried to do so but fail. Firms do create social problems such as pollution to the environment that might affect the quality of life of the local community, product defects that might injure consumers or even cause deaths, and employing children and illegal immigrants. Firms then must voluntarily take responsibility to rectify such social problems. Failure to voluntarily do the right thing will result in legal intervention such as court actions against the firms. Okay, now we look at corporate social responsiveness. Corporate social responsiveness is an extension of the CSR concept that focuses on actions rather than merely identification of firms' obligations. It is not enough for firms to merely identify and fulfill their obligations to stakeholders. Instead, they need to be proactive in determining the needs of the society and to do something to meet those needs. CSR also can be seen as a competitive advantage. CSR is one of the strategies owned by firms to achieve sustainable competitive advantage over their competitors. In one hand, CSR benefits the stakeholders. On the other hand, CSR is associated with higher firms' performance. Nonetheless, the expected benefit of CSR is not similar in the developed and developing countries. Alright, now we look at CSR in an emerging economy. CSR is a controversial topic in the context of developing economy, given that CSR disclosure is a subtle manifestation of governance, environment, rules, and regulation that differentiate itself from the context of the developed economy. When compared to developed economies, emerging economies are often characterized as having weak investor and legal protection, weak institutional setup, standard and government enforcement, weak external mechanism, high family and concentrated ownership, high corruption index, and unbalanced distribution of income. With all of these negativities in governance, business ethics, and regulation landscape in emerging market, the credibility of CSR reporting in an emerging economy is often viewed as less credible, subject to criticism, and labeled as less relevant because investors often fail to value such information. Now we look at 6 logics behind CSR adaptation in emerging economy according to Jamali et al. 2017. The first logic is because of the state. Influence of the state through regulatory pressure on CSR and corruption opportunities through CSR, market coping with globalization and competition, as well as to legitimize their business activity within society. Corporation competing with international business and to provide welfare. Profession managers signal high professionalism through CSR. Family, where CSR function to help families and relatives. Religion is where religious doctrine and cultural orientation. For example, in China, although the government is serious to use CSR disclosure to report pollution-related breaches such as carbon emission, pollution disclosure, and depletion of natural resources, nevertheless, firms in China are less likely to disclose their information related to carbon reporting when compared to other European countries. Given that pollution is still an unresolved issue in China, the manager's decision not to disclose information in carbon emission must suggest that CSR disclosure in China is potentially a self-serving selection. That is, only information that benefit firms will be disclosed, and information that potentially harm will be hidden from the market. In Bangladesh, high family ownership is found to be associated with lower level of CSR disclosure. In South Africa, blockholders are often in few hands. Thus, key governance decisions such as board appointments where blockholders' decisions are involved have been politicized in such a way that the appointed board is ineffective in monitoring the managers, thus leading to the impairment of the overall corporate governance system. Alright, now we look at the conclusion. CSR in developing countries are basically less successful or less efficient when compared to CSR in developed countries due to different regulation, business ethic principle, institution, governments and governance system in the countries. Alright class, this is the end of this section. Next week inshallah we will learn about code of conduct and ethic in the firm. That's all for today. Have a nice day to all of you. Bye bye.